This is the Scorp Mini 3 Pro from Tech, and it's a professional stabilizer aiming to minimize your setup while providing pro-grade features that you normally expect on a higher-end gimbal. In this video, I'll be covering the unboxing, design and versatility, stabilization, AI tracking, and other features you need to know before buying one. Let's start off with the unboxing. Here, I have the Creator Kit Edition, which is a nice carrying case and a few other bits and pieces. Inside, we get everything we need to start: the gimbal itself, a magic arm, a tripod, and a mini light box. Opening the other side, we get the phone mount that has a built-in fan, all the mounts for the camera, and the cables to operate and charge the gimbal. We also have this extender pole. Now, looking at the design and the versatility of the Scorp Mini 3 Pro, it feels really solid with a combination of metal, plastic, and rubber, and overall feels very good in the hand. It's compact and light, only weighing 1 kilo, which is extremely convenient. There's a detachable handle which allows you to use the gimbal like a remote control. On it is a 1.3-inch touchscreen, which is where you can control all the functions of the gimbal. You can also use it for phones, action cameras, compact and mirrorless cameras, which makes this a 4-in-1 gimbal. And with easy switching between horizontal and vertical shooting modes, it's super easy to get any type of shot you need. To keep the gimbal planted, there's an included tripod along with a free access lock to keep the gimbal from moving around when it's in the case. Now let's talk about stabilization on the Scorp Mini 3 Pro. So the Scorp Mini 3 Pro has a payload of 2 kilograms, which is pretty decent enough for pretty much any type of mirrorless camera and most lenses. Now the main issue is balance, and with the Sony ZV-E1, I've had some issues with my Sigma 24mm, which is pretty large and pretty heavy, but that's an edge case. For most people, it's going to be totally fine. Right now, I've got the 35mm f1.8 Sony lens attached to the ZV-E1, and balancing is perfectly fine. No issues over here. Now, let me show you a few different scenarios to test out the stabilization of the Scorp Mini 3 Pro. Starting with slow panning motions with 120 frames per second, we get some really nice stable footage. When we switch to a normal FPS of 24, things are stable, but if you make quick movements or using a heavier lens, the gimbal does struggle. Using the heavier lens like the Sigma 24mm, it also is caused because of the weight distribution, which does make the gimbal a bit more shakier. If you are using a smaller lens or a smaller setup that's a bit more lighter, you won't see as much shake. When walking, you have to be careful to move slow and adopt a careful walk. In these examples where I was walking reasonably fast, the Scorp does a decent job at cutting out most movements, but isn't perfect and you can still see some jutters here and there. When running, it isn't ideal either. Altogether, for most shots where you're not moving too much, the Scorp Mini 3 Pro does a great job at stabilizing and keeping your footage smooth. But if you are doing extreme cases where you're running or doing extreme movements or using heavier setups, the footage isn't going to be super stable. So the next standout feature on the Scorp Mini 3 Pro is its AI tracking, which can be enabled by simply putting up the OK sign, and now it can track me up to 18 meters, and this is a pretty fast response. Honestly, this is actually pretty impressive, and you can track me 360 degrees because the whole gimbal allows for 360 turnaround. Yeah. This is perfect for solo filmmakers, so you don't have to worry about trying to get someone to film for you. You can simply just set this up and get it tracking. Super handy and super useful. Other features on the Scorp Mini 3 Pro is that it has Bluetooth connectivity, so that means you can actually control the camera using the controls on the gimbal itself, which is super handy, especially if you're going solo. It has up to 14 hours of battery runtime, so pretty decent. It's good enough for most long shoots, and you don't really need to charge it that many times. So altogether, the Scorp Mini 3 Pro from Tech is a solid option for budget-conscious filmmakers. It's perfect for solo creators as well, and for anyone who needs a compact setup and the ability to use a gimbal with both their phone, action cameras, mirrorless cameras, and compact cameras. This is one of the best options to go for. If you guys want to check out the Scorp Mini 3 Pro for yourself, check the link in my description. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.